Good evening. It's like deja vu all over again. Uh, this is Seth Eisenberg on the conservative corner. There was a glitch, so I've done this once already. It just didn't go on, so now I'm doing it again. Thanks for joining us. It's Sunday. It's 7:03 now. So if you're supposed to be here, good deal. Thanks for coming. If you're lost, just hang out. It's better than watching golf or tennis. So at least you got that going for you now. So this weekend or this past Thursday was Thanksgiving. So I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Got some time off of work. Got to hang out with family. Eat too much turkey. Watch too much football. And be in general just lazy. Which is what you're supposed to do until it's time to clean the dishes or stuff like that. Then it's like forced labor. But it's worth it. Got to stay home, hang out with your family. So I hope it was a good time. It's the holiday season, so now we got Christmas, the New Year's, all getting ready to hit us. So I hope you're all getting ready for that. And remember, Christmas isn't about going broke, so don't stress. That's when the biggest problem with Christmas is people stress, spend too much money, and then end up broke the next year. So don't worry about that. Just try to enjoy it and don't worry about it, which is easier said than done. I get it. I fully get it. But I hope you all had a good holiday week. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was pretty cold here. It snowed here this morning pretty good. Didn't stick, but it came down pretty good here in Maryland. Supposed to snow Tuesday, they said, like a big storm. I don't know if that's hitting you all too, but I read it somewhere from like a dusting to like 7 feet, which is usually how they do the weather. It's possibly could, maybe might do something weather-wise Tuesday through Sunday. Could be nothing to a glacier moving in. It's the only job in the world where you can be right 25% of the time and still keep your job. So I don't put much weight into it, but they're saying it. So maybe we'll have some weather of some type Tuesday-ish this week. Who knows? But it's cold enough. It was like 20-some degrees last night. It's freezing. But it's winter. It's supposed to be cold, so I don't know why people are complaining. It happens every time, every year. Nothing's new. It's been the same way for eons. So if it surprises you still, you probably have a problem. It's just my opinion. But let's get into it. Look at some breaking. At the very bottom, you'll see that the news is running from the week. And I didn't realize there's only one, Damon, the Hammer show and my show this week is a holiday. So some of this stuff might not be new and breaking. It's just maybe you haven't heard about it because we didn't talk about it, or you haven't been watching the news because you're too busy eating turkey. I don't know. So some of this might be old news, but it's still there. So the first thing I want to talk about is this study came out that Americans are no longer seeing the value in going to college, and college enrollment has dropped like 30%, which I think is incredibly funny. I've been saying this forever. Go to college with no debt, get out with like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, no guarantee to get a job. And most people who go to college, when they get out, don't find jobs in the field they studied in. It's something completely different. Only 33% of Americans agree that a four-year college is now worth the cost, which means over 70% don't. While 63% agree more with the concept that it is not worth the cost because people often graduate without specific job skills and with a large amount of debt to pay off, like I just said. That's why I think trade schools are the best. Doesn't cost that much to go. You get out, you might be 30, 40 grand in debt. They help you find a job. And the last time I checked, masons and carpenters and electricians can always find work. People who majored in theater or underwater basket weaving or lesbian dance theory with degrees probably have a hard time finding work. People who do like coding and things like that, apparently that's all being shipped overseas. They're not even doing that in this country anymore. So yeah, go spend your $90,000 a quarter, come out with a degree that won't get you a job that pays $20 an hour. I completely understand why Americans are seeing the joke in college. I'm not knocking you if you go, but you just need to know the facts that most likely you're not going to get out making the money you need to make to get out of debt. And you won't be making that type of money for years, as opposed to Charlie the electrician, who's going to get out making 40, 50 bucks an hour to start. And by the time you're making good money, he'll own his own company making more and he'll be out of debt. Trade schools are the ways to go. I mean, I wish high schools push trade school as much as they do colleges, but they don't, because it looks good if a high school can say, oh, 45% or 70% of the people that graduate from this high school go to college. It's not, I guess that's not as impressive as saying 60% of the people who graduate from our high school go to trade school and are already working in the workforce and are debt free. I guess it used to mean something to get a college degree, but if you watch the news now, you got colleges don't let Jewish kids go on campus, don't let Jewish kids go to their class. You got pro-Palestinian protesters taking over colleges. You've got riots on colleges. You've got morons taking over colleges' buildings because they're fascists or whatever. So you send your kid to college, he's not going to learn anything except that being white is evil and Jews are evil and Palestine is a victim. That's all they really learn nowadays is victimhood. And that'll cost you $100,000 a year. That's why only 33% or 73% of Americans don't see the value in college anymore. And that's great. I think that's awesome. Higher learning is no longer higher learning. It's not what it used to be, where you actually went to school and you learned something useful, go to college, you learned something more useful, got out and got a good job. You don't. You go to college and learn how to be a victim and blame everybody else for your problem and learn that being white is evil and that you owe an apology to everybody. So yeah, keep sending your kids to school and then wonder why they're still living even when they're 40 years old because they can't find work. It's like throwing good money after bad money. And it's not just me now. It's over 70% of the Americans agree that it's not worth the money anymore. Four-year colleges used to be worth the money, like I just said, because people had a better chance of getting a good job and earn more money over their lifetime with a college degree. Not so anymore. That shouldn't be shocking to most of you. You should be like, yeah, tell me something I didn't know. If you don't believe me, look at Starbucks, all those morons out there wanting to get paid $30 an hour for pouring your coffee. Those are college graduates. They don't understand basic economy. You don't make $30 an hour pouring coffee. It's ridiculous. And if you try to get $30 an hour for pouring coffee, coffee's going to cost $60 a cup at that point. But you can't tell them that because they're just entitled to everything. This guy shocked me. Senator John Fetterman, who is the guy who wears the sweatshirts and shorts to Congress, fell down on his face a couple of days ago or last week and busted it up. 100% lib. I never thought this man would say anything that I would agree with just because he comes across as a gigantic moron. But he said something that made sense and I agree with. Iran spent billions to build a nuclear bomb and on proxies to destroy Israel instead of water for their own country. Iran or Gaza, stop attacking Israel and rebuild your failed nations. Israel isn't going anywhere. You would think you wouldn't have to tell people that. Gaza got, billions of dollars from the world to help their infrastructure and all that. And what did they do with it? Use it to build tunnels, build rockets, and attack Israel for the last 10 years. Not one dime went into their infrastructure. Not one dime. I think they said their tunnels were longer than the New York subway system the terrorists were using to move around and store munitions and hide hostages. Iran has no water left. They have none. They are actually thinking about evacuating Tehran because there's no water left there. I don't feel sorry for any of those people. They are terrorist sympathizing, anti-Semitic, anti-world desert rats, and they're getting what they should. And what's really funny is when you listen to people who from Iran or from Gaza say, oh, God is on our side. He's going to help us. He's taking away all your water. God is taking away all your money, and you think he's on your side. Maybe you should stop killing people because they don't worship the God you worship. Maybe you need to back off of that. And like Mr. Fetterman says, take care of your own country. Start rebuilding your country. Stop buying rockets to attack other people. Stop putting in your charter of your country, your constitution. Stop putting in there things like we're going to kill all the Jews and erase Israel from the map. Maybe you shouldn't put stuff like that in your constitutions and focus on your own people. And maybe things like this won't happen because nowhere else in the world are people running out of water. Only in Iran. Nowhere else in the world is a country being flooded out except in Gaza. Sounds pretty biblical to me. I mean, didn't God flood it once? Wanted to start all over, hit the reset button and flooded everything? Now he's flooding Gaza and taking away Iran's water? But these people will tell you blue in the face till they're blue in the face. Allah's on our side. We can't lose. Explain to me how come you have no water left. Explain to me how you're getting flooded out. Explain that to me. Because you're killing folks for no reason. And you pay people to kill innocent people. I don't feel sorry for them. I can't. And you shouldn't either. You know what? Iran sent billions to Hamas and on Hezbollah to kill people. And now they have no water. Gaza was killing people. Hamas from Gaza was killing Israelis left and right, raping and killing women on purpose. And now they're getting flooded out because of the rains. They got nowhere to live. Don't feel sorry for them. They did this to themselves. This is nobody else's fault but their own. But you're going to get the morons that protest for Palestine. It's all, the rain is Israel's fault. If Israel didn't do all X, Y, and Z, this wouldn't be going on. They'd all be in their homes. No, they wouldn't. Israel moved out of Gaza years ago. And ever since then, Hamas has been attacking Israel. What else are they supposed to do? So now you're getting a taste of what it's like to know that you're on the wrong side of history. You're getting flooded out and you got no water left. Couldn't happen to a better group of people. Don't feel sorry for them at all. Keep killing Jews. See what happens next. and the rest of the world should be happy that Iran's falling apart. The rest of the world should be happy that Hamas is falling apart. They're terrorist organizations in a country that supports terrorism. They are not good neighbors. They are not part of the world neighborhood. They want to be on their own. They want to kill your neighbors. So this should be welcome news to anybody who's civilized, that wants to get along with people, that wants to have relations with the rest of the world that are healthy and productive. These people are caught in the dark ages. I mean, they execute homosexuals. Women are property. You can go to they could come to your country and they expect you to have mosques for them. But if you go to their country, you can't build a synagogue. You can't build a Christian church. You can't preach in public. You have to pay a tax, apparently, to practice another religion. But they want to say they're the religion of peace, the inclusive religion. No, they're not. They're stuck in the Stone Age. That religion is not compatible with any other country in the world except where they're at. And look at the countries where Islam is the predominant religion. They're third world countries. They're running out of water, for God's sakes, in one of their countries. That's all you need to know about them. That's all you need to know. On top, like I said, they throw homosexuals from rooftops. They still execute people for stupid stuff. You can't speak out against them. They cut your hands off if you're a thief. It's good riddance to bad rubbish. It couldn't have happened sooner, as far as I'm concerned. I don't feel sorry. Like I said, I don't lose any sleep over any of that, ever. I don't. And still, they're blaming everybody else. It's everybody else's fault. It's not theirs. They assume no responsibility for anything they do. And when they do, it's because they're the victim. We only shot rockets at Israel because they're Jews. I mean, what do you expect us to do? They're Jews. And again, going back to the college being a waste of money, they're being taught that in college. They're being taught that Palestine is the victim. Number one, there's no country called Palestine. Never has been, never will be. There's Gaza. And then there's people who live in Gaza that believe in unicorns in Palestine. So you have college professors who are supposed to be educated, teaching people about Palestine, which should be a red flag right there, because if they're going to teach about Palestine, let's learn about Narnia. Tell me about Middle Earth. Let's learn about dragons. Let's learn about all the other bullshit that goes on that's not true, but we want it to be true, so we're going to tell you it's true. So yeah, this all kind of ties in together. College is a joke. These countries are getting what they deserve, and colleges are teaching people that they're victims. The best thing I think you can do if you want to go to college is probably go to a junior college, get a 2-year AA degree, go get work, and if you can find work with that degree, then maybe think about a university. Maybe. I wouldn't be pressed. If you can get a job with an AA degree, you might be able to get certificates or other things in that chosen profession that'll be less than $100,000 a year and will pay off immediately. Or like I said, go to trade school. Go to trade school. Like I said, I've never, ever remember a time in my life when people didn't need a mason or a plumber or a carpenter or an electrician or a mechanic. Never have ever remember a time like, we don't need them, but we need those IT people. That's what we really need. We need those people. We need lawyers. We need them more than anything else. Yeah, so trade school. And I'm not like this. I don't want to get any nasty emails from everybody saying, well, you're knocking college. Not knocking college. I'm just saying it's not as important as it used to be. It's not the end all be all. There are more jobs out there that pay well that don't require a college degree than there are that require a college degree. A lot of jobs now even specify you don't need a college degree and will hire you. They're paying good money, 70, 80 grand a year. I don't have a college degree. I've got a job making 75 plus bonus, so about 80 grand a year. I don't have a college degree. I know a lot of people make more than me that don't have a college degree. So don't get all twisted up. If I don't have a college degree, I'll be, flipping burgers and I'll never. It's not true. And then again, if everything happens, flipping burgers is going to pay $30 an hour anyway. So, which is ridiculous. But that's something else that we'll talk about another time. That's aggravating. I don't know if you heard about this. This is pretty horrible. Over Saturday on the 29th, there was a mass shooting in Stockton, California at a child's birthday party. 4 people were killed. 10 others were injured. I think the ages range from like 20 to 4 years old. They're saying it was a targeted attack. They haven't released any more information than that. The police are treating it very seriously, as they do most murders. I mean, it's not like every once in a while they go, oh, it's just a murder. It's not a big deal. Nah. But they're taking this very seriously because of the ages of the victims. Keep in mind, California has some of the strictest gun control laws in the nation, and they're still shooting people out there like it's how they get paid. And of course, all the liberals are screaming now, gun control, gun control, gun control. Okay, explain to me how much more gun control in California they could have done that would have prevented this. I mean, it's almost illegal to even look at a gun in California. So laws don't work. They don't work. They work after the fact. You can charge with somebody with breaking a law, but more often than not, bad guys don't listen to the law. They don't care. They do what they want to do. That's why they're called bad guys. The only people that are affected by these kind of laws are the law-abiding citizens. That's simple. Criminals don't care, and they'll always find a way to get a gun. So yeah, that's at a birthday party. What kind of low-life, degenerate subhuman do you have to be to shoot up a kid's birthday party? I mean, that's just horrible. How mad? I mean, I don't even think it's mad. I think it's a mental illness. Because I've been mad in my life, and never once has it crossed my mind to shoot up a birthday party to get to somebody that made me mad or did me wrong. I would not be surprised, since it's in Stockton, California, if it wasn't gang-related in some way, shape, or form. That would not surprise me. Again, doesn't make it acceptable. It just kind of would explain the mentality of the people we're dealing with that would think it's okay to shoot up a birthday party to get somebody back that disrespected them or whatever. So there's more information on that comes out. We'll get it out to you. But yeah, on the 29th, 10 people were shot, 4 people were killed at a child's birthday party. Why would you want to live in California? If it's not wildfires, it's mudslides. If it's not mudslides, it's car accidents. If it's not car accidents, it's traffic. If it's not traffic, it's gang violence. If it's not gang violence, it's shootings. Why would anybody want to live in California? I mean, the taxes are out of control. It's overrun with illegal immigrants. It's ridiculous. I think they have the highest taxes in the country, and you don't get anything for it. They use all their taxes to make sure that the illegal aliens have places to stay and can go to hospitals. It doesn't do anything for us or for the citizens. I don't know why you'd want to live there. This is just reason 10,622 to get the hell out of California and move anywhere else. So that's kind of the highlights this week. And there's more things we're going to get into here, but that was just kind of the quick, hey, let's talk about this and get that out of the way before we jump into the big stuff. Excuse me. So yeah, that's what happened. That's a roundup, I guess, of this week, which was short because, like, again, Thanksgiving. So I don't know if you also heard about this. Afghan I don't know if I'm going to call him a citizen, but lived here, was an alien, Afghan national, shot 2 National Guard members in D.C., killed one. He killed Specialist Sarah Beckstorm. And Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf is apparently still listed as critical condition and is fighting for his life. The gentleman, I don't even want to call it, the animal that did this, let me get my notes out here, was an Afghan national who had been here for a while. What do we got here? Hold on, I got stuff. Apparently, when he was shooting, he was yelling Allahu Akbar, which is not shocking when it comes to those desert rats. Everything they do in their God's name. A National Guard shooter identified as Rumala Lakwala. Sounds like a disease. 29 of Afghanistan, entered the United States under Biden administration in 2021. He was yelling Allah Akbar while he was shooting these 2 National Guard people. And of course, now you got the liberals not blaming the gunman, but blaming Trump for putting National Guard in D.C. There's no blame placed on the shooter by liberals, none. They haven't mentioned him, haven't said anything about him. It's all Trump shouldn't have had National Guard people there. It's his fault they were shot. I want to make something perfectly clear. I don't care if Biden had put the National Guard into D.C. If they were shot, I wouldn't blame Biden. I would blame the person that shot them. Trump putting them in D.C. has no bearing on them being shot. He's allowed to put them there. What you're not allowed to do is shoot people. So this animal from some third world shithole came over here, shot American citizens, and the Democrats, like always, are protecting him and holding the victims and the president to blame. It's their fault. They shouldn't have been there. President shouldn't have mobilized them to D.C., etc. Not once they said that guy shouldn't have shot him. Doesn't matter why they were there. Doesn't matter who put him there. Ramallah shitstain from Afghanistan shouldn't have killed him. Shouldn't have shot at him. But they're not saying that because they don't like America. Liberals do not like America. They look for every reason they can to bring this country down. We're all racist. We're all Islamophobe. We're all homophobes. We're all this, that, and this. Anything bad happens in America, they're celebrating. Like this. They got no problem with this young lady, Specialist Sarah Beckstorm, was shot and killed. They don't care. What they care about is making it stick to Trump, making him look bad. That's what they care about. If they can make him look bad, it's worth these people dying or worth these people getting shot. How do they look? I just wonder how they look at themselves in the mirror and go, I'm doing a good thing. I'm a good person and I'm doing the right thing for my country. I wonder how they do that or if they even care. I mean, some of the stuff they say leads me to believe that they're soulless, uncaring individuals that just want to bring the country down any way they can and don't care who they hurt doing it. So that's Sergeant Andrew Wolf and that Specialist Sarah Beckstorm who was killed. And that should anger you. Even if you take out the shooter, like it doesn't matter he's from Afghanistan, it doesn't matter that he's some subhuman piece of shit. 2 American citizens were killed minding their own business by someone from another country. That's what should aggravate you. Doesn't matter what country. I don't care if the guy came from France or came from England. I wouldn't care about the country he came from. I would be upset that Americans were killed. That he came from a Muslim country doesn't surprise me. These people are violent by nature. Everywhere Islam goes, everywhere, violence follows. Everywhere. England, Norway, France. They've moved into those countries and look at them now. There's riots daily. The country's falling apart. They are attacking people. They're trying to institute Sharia law in those countries. Islam is not conducive to Western civilization. It will never fit in. It cannot fit in. And liberals will try to integrate them into our society. It can't be done. Maybe once in a while, you can get individuals who are Muslim that can fit into a community and assimilate and become Americans or become French or become English citizens and fit into the community? Yes. As a whole, no. And again, where's my proof? Look overseas. Look at the countries that don't allow Muslims to their country. Look at Poland, has denied access to their country, anybody from a Muslim country. Their country's fine. Nothing going on there. Japan refuses to allow Muslims into the country. Look at their country. It's fine. Countries that don't let them in do well. Look at America. You got what? Michigan. You got Texas. You've got New York. You got California now. Other states, they're rioting. They got, I can't remember what country, what state it was, but now they got call to prayer 5 times a day, starting at 4 o'clock in the morning. And they won't stop it because it's their religious right. But they'll get upset if you tell them they're wrong. Then they'll want to kill you. You all don't understand. Islam is not about assimilation. It's about domination. They're not trying to be involved in our country or other countries. It's obvious. They don't want to assimilate. They don't want to be part of. They want to control. And every time you hear an imam speak, what's he saying? Islam will be in every house. We will run the world. America will fall to Allah. Every time they speak publicly, that's what they're saying. Every time. And then you got people that say, well, there's peaceful Muslims. Name fucking one. Name one Muslim that stood in front of a news camera and said, this is wrong. Islam is not about this. We're not about executing homosexuals. We're not about killing Jews. We're not about world domination. We're a peaceful religion, and what they're doing is wrong. Name one Muslim that's ever done that. Name one. You can't, because they don't. They may tell you, oh, no, that's wrong. But deep down inside, they agree with it because that's Islam. That is Islam. It's about taking over the world. Their whole religion is based on submission. Submit to the will of Allah, as opposed to Christian and Judaism and Catholicism and Protestant, all that. There are religions based on choose. You can follow me or you don't. I'm not going to make you follow me or believe me. Islam is either you do or we kill you. It's in the Quran. They talk about killing infidels in the Quran. But we're going to keep letting them into this country. We're not going to stop them. They can come in whenever they want to. They can do their call to prayer at 4 in the goddamn morning, 5 times a day. And we're just supposed to go, okay, it's freedom of religion. If we're not careful, we're going to turn into England. If we're really not careful, we're going to turn into Norway, where there's Sharia law zones, where they enforce their law, not the law of the country that they've invaded. The law, they enforce their own law. It's going to happen. I'm sure it's already happened in Dearborn. I'm sure. I think they busted something in New York City a while ago. What was it called? It was a Muslim, they had a police department that was run by Muslims in their communities. They enforced Muslim law. I'll have to look for that and find it. But yeah, these people are not about assimilation. And I'm talking about in general as a whole. Again, I'm sure there's 1 or 2 or thousands of them that don't feel that way. But you got to remember, there's 30 million Muslims in the world, 30 million, 40 million, and only 10% are the violent ones. So that's 3 million or 4 million. That's a lot of goddamn people. So yeah, again, the liberals aren't talking about these 2 National Guard people, the one who's still in the hospital, Staff Sergeant Wolf, or the young lady specialist Beckstorm who was killed. They're not talking about them. They're talking about it's Trump's fault, and we need to, he needs to be impeached for what he's done, blah, blah, blah. Not one word about the shooter and how what his responsibility is and all this. Unfortunately, when they caught him, they didn't kill him. The police didn't shoot him. From what I understand, there was an off-duty National Guardsman who heard the shots. He ran to the scene, had a pocket knife, and stabbed the guy to subdue him. That's what I read. I don't know why they should have killed him. I don't want to pay a dime for him to be in prison. I don't want to pay a dime for his food. I don't want to pay a dime for his medical care. They should have shot him, because that's the same thing they would have done to Americans in his country. We should have returned the favor here and just put a bullet in his head and left him in the gutter, because that's all he's worth as an animal. He's came to this country to kill Americans. He's killed one. I hope the other guy pulls out. They should have killed him. This is ridiculous. These people are invading this country. And the liberals are just standing by letting it happen, defending everything they do. Here you go. Here's a picture of New York. Friggin' Muslims protesting Gaza or Palestine. Free Palestine. Death to America. Death to Israel. This is happening in America. Not just 10 or 20 of them. There's hundreds there. This has to stop. This needs to be crushed immediately. And I think Trump has come out and said he's going to suspend all immigration from third world countries and from the Middle East until they can do better vetting. I'm all for it. We don't need any more of these people in our country. I'm sorry. Try going to another country. Maybe some other country is stupid enough to take you in and let you ruin their world, their country and hurt their citizens. But America needs to be done with this. We need to stop being the Holiday Inn for the world. It's not our responsibility to take in everybody. We've done that and look where we're at. We need to stop. We need to start putting America first, our citizens first. And we can't do that with invaders from third world shitholes that have no intention of melting in with our country. They have no intention of becoming a citizen. They want to make us them. So we need to stop letting them in. And again, every week, you've got these insane bastards in some state, some city screaming and yelling about some perceived injustice that needs to be stopped. I mean, it's just now they're pro-Palestine, a make-believe country. That's what they're all on now. And the only reason they're doing that is because they don't like Jews. They want to kill Jews. They don't hide that. It's in most Muslim countries in their constitution, whatever they call it, is talking about the eradication of the Jewish state. How do you eradicate a Jewish state? You kill all the Jews. Nobody wants to live. They're telling you what they want to do, and everybody's ignoring it. And now if you go on X or any other social media, there's all these posts. Oh, Islam is religion of peace. Is religion of... No, it's not. Maybe at one point it was, but it's been bastardized into what it is now. A murder cult, a death cult. And it needs to stop. We need to stop ignoring the facts and just admit that they don't belong here. That religion is not compatible with this country, and they need to go. It's really that simple. But until we get past, well, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be, an Islamophobe or a racist or a bigot. Until we can get past that ridiculous crap and just go, hey, look, my country's more important. My neighbor's more important than these Muslims coming to this country. Until we can just grasp that, it's not going to stop. And the second we can realize our country is more important than letting them in, things will start to get better. So I'm all for Trump shutting down immigration from the Middle Eastern countries for a while. I wish he would shut down immigration from everywhere for like a year so we can get our stuff straight in our country, get where we need to be. Then we can open up and start bringing people back in. Very selective. Not anybody. Very selective. I think the criteria should be if you can bring a skill to this country that we need or we can't fill, you can come. But if you don't bring anything to the table, you don't get to come here. Sorry. There's other countries in the world, but you're not welcome here. Unfortunately, you don't provide anything that we need. We don't want you. Good luck. Have a nice day. And you shut the door on them. They're killing Americans now. And then you got this schmuck, the Dearborn mayor, condemning recent anti-Muslim demonstrations. I think there's been 2. Hasn't come out and said anything about the Afghan shooter, the Muslim who killed the Americans. Hasn't come out about that, saying we should condemn that. He's worried about people protesting Islam's call to prayer at 5 a.m. Of course, he's a Muslim, so he's got the IQ of a flip-flop. They're not very smart people. But that's his big thing. We got to stop being mean to the Muslims. They have every right to be here. There's nothing wrong with them. It's a peaceful religion. The same BS you're hearing from the liberals. It's at the point now where people like him need to be removed from office. He's not putting America first. He's not putting American citizens first. He's worried about a minority and making sure that they can do what they want to do at the expense of people who live here. I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. hearing some Arabic BS about prayer and then listen to these people. I don't want to hear that. You can't even ring church bells past a certain time, but it's okay for these morons to make announcements on loudspeakers at 5 a.m, calling the rest of the death cult to pray to their God. That's acceptable to this asshole. And then nobody will say anything because, again, I don't want to be an Islamophobe. I don't want people to think I'm an Islamophobe or I'm a bigot or a racist. You're not a bigot or a racist if you don't want to be woken up at 5 a.m. because some barbaric religion, that's how they get people to pray. You're not a bigot if you don't want a death cult in your country. It's called common sense. These people don't want to be part of the country. They want to run the country. They need to leave. That doesn't make you anything except an American. And if you lived in France and felt the same way, that'd make you a French person. And if you lived in Italy and you felt the same way, that'd make you an Italian. Doesn't make you anything except the person of the country you're in. Their own countries won't even let them in. The people in Gaza can't go to Egypt, which is right next door, because Egypt doesn't want them in there. No other country's taking in the refugees because they understand, they even know how bad they are. What more do you need to know when their own religion rejects them from coming into their countries because they need to because there's a war in theirs? That's all you need to know. They're turning away their own people because they realize that they're a cancer. Everywhere they go, death follows. Everywhere. Here it is again in New York. Muslims scream in Times Square, "We will not stop until Islam enters every home." They are telling you what they want to do. It's an imam. We will not stop until Islam enters every home. I've never heard a Christian priest say that. Never heard a Catholic priest say that. Never heard a rabbi say that. I don't know, a Buddhist monk. Never heard a Buddhist monk say that. Never heard somebody from the Amish country say that. It's only these subhumans. It's not about assimilation. It's about domination. They want everything. Make it all Islam. And if you don't fall in line, they'll kill you. They'll execute you because you're an infidel. These people are dangerous. Very dangerous. And again, if you don't believe me, just look overseas. Look at Dearborn. Look at Texas. These people don't. I mean, in Texas, they want to have their own community that only Muslims can live in. And they're okay with that. But if I start a community and say Muslims can't be there, they'll sue the shit out of me because that's not right. You can't do that. But it's okay for them to do that because they're Islam. They're Muslim. And the liberals will support it. These people have to be stopped. They can't be in this country, but they have to leave. That's simple. Be like Japan. Be like Poland. Be like the other countries. If you're Muslim, you cannot come into our country. End of story. Goodbye. That's simple. No, you cannot build a mosque in our country. Sorry. Goodbye. There's nothing wrong with it. If you let them know beforehand, before they become a citizen, then it's okay. You can't tell them that once they're here. That I don't agree with. If you let them in, then yes, you like now we can't say you can't worship whoever you want to worship. We've let them in. So now we need to remove them and then make that part of the entry to this country. Are you a Muslim? Yes. Sorry, you can't come in. Or if we let a Muslim in, you can't worship Islam in this country. We won't allow you to build a mosque. You can't do that. We won't allow that. And if you're okay with that, you can come into the country. But you're going to sign this thing. You understand that. You completely agree with it. And that's the end of it. So you can't turn around 2 weeks later and say, I'm going to sue you because now I can't build a mosque. Not going to happen. So if you do that, we're just going to boot you out of the country. Because you're not wanted here to begin with. We're going to bend the rules and let you in. The first sign of you being a typical Muslim wanting to kill people, we will eject you from the country immediately. And if you're okay with that, you can come in. That's how it should be. That's how it should be because these people are dangerous. And they've proven it time and time again. This is not just a one-off or it's only happened a couple times or you know what, they've had a bad month. This is since the inception of Islam. They've been a warring religion. They've killed people, taken over countries, beheaded people that don't believe what they believe. And I'm not saying there's other religions that haven't done that in the past. The last time I checked, the Vatican wasn't about burning people at the stake anymore. They weren't beheading people. They weren't having crusades in other countries and starting wars. That happened back in the old days. And then we got smarter and realized, hey, you know what? That doesn't really work. It's not conducive to a world community. Somewhere along the line, Islam got locked in the Middle Ages and has never come out of it. Just never come out of it. And that should not be applauded or accepted. That should be condemned and shunned from polite and civilized society. They have no place anywhere other than the countries they're already in. Put up a wall around the Middle East and let them do what they want to do. Have at it. Don't care. We're not involved. You're not involved with us. Do what you want to do. Just leave us, the rest of the world, out of it because we're tired of dealing with you. Tired of hearing how victimized you are and how hard your life is and how everybody's against you. And that, we're just going to start killing people that don't believe in it. We're tired of it. Tired of it. It's like a child is having a tantrum. You send him to his room. You don't sit there and let him scream and yell at you and you go, it's okay, it's okay. No, you go to your goddamn room and calm down. Send the Muslims back to their country. Calm down. Why don't you join us in the new millennium? And then we could talk about you about you coming out of your room and joining the rest of us. But until then, stay in your room because we don't want to deal with your murder cult anymore. We're done. Tired of it. You're violent, uneducated, and you're frightening law-abiding people. You can't go to a country and assimilate. You go to a country and you try to take it over or you destroy it. We're tired. Done. Don't want you anymore. You're not welcome. Persona non grata. That's how it should be treated.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
So like I said, this week there was the Hammer. David Galdo had a show. I had mine. Because it was a short week, we didn't do the Pulse because that was Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, so we didn't want to tie things up with that. This week it's a normal schedule. I think for the next couple of weeks it's a normal schedule. And then Christmas week again, we won't have the Pulse, so it'll probably just be me and Damon doing our show. And then New Year's Eve week, same thing. No Wednesday show. That way, because really it's more important you spend time with your family than it is taking time away from your family during holidays to come listen to us talk. Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe that we're not that important, but we're really not. Your family's more important. And then we have Alexandra Levine, who's our White House correspondent, and she has her own show. Again, with the short week, it was only 2 shows. She's still here, just didn't do a show this week. Or last week. This week she does. But yeah, so check us out. It's scrolling there on the bottom. Jersey Shore Podcast is David Galdo. Then we have the Pulse, which is me, Damon, Alexander, Elena Barbera, and usually another guest host come on and we talk about everything. There's not just one thing. We all discuss it. And then Alexandra's show is called Alexandra Levine Live. Again, good show. Both of them are good shows. Just again, holiday week, only had 2 shows. So they're still there. They're still doing shows. It's just holiday week. We wanted to do that instead. And I'm sure you all can understand that. Just one more thing about the segment we just did about Christianity and other religions in Muslim countries. In most Muslim countries, Christianity is legal, but with significant restrictions on public expression and practice. Christians can worship in designated private areas, but they cannot display religious symbols openly or proselytize to Muslims. While the Constitution guarantees freedom of religion in those countries. For non-Muslims, converting from Islam is forbidden and punishable by death. Citizens cannot attend Christian services. So yeah, you can practice your religion there, but you can't do it openly, can't wear a cross, can't talk to other people about it. You can't change from Islam to Christianity or they'll execute you. And citizens of that country cannot attend your church services. But yeah, you're more than welcome to practice it here. Pretty much you could sit in your basement with the lights off, talking to yourself in the dark. Sounds reasonable? That sounds like freedom of religion to me. But they come to this country and they expect, hey, we can do whatever we want. It's legal. You can't stop us. Things better change. That's going to be in America, where you can't do any other religion except Islam without permission. You think I'm kidding? I'm telling you, look overseas. They are not playing around. Once they get into a country, they're like a tick. They just detach themselves and suck the life out of that country until someone stops them. Someone needs to stop. And I'm not talking about violent. You don't have to be violent to stop them. Just restrict them out. Like they restrict other religions out of their country. Local, like building restrictions and permits. Use the legal system to beat them. Charge them fees out the butt. Make it illegal to do certain things that religion does. Use the legal system against them like they're using it against us. And then get them out of here. Let them know that they're not welcome. And it's not a personal thing. It's a religious thing. Their religion is violent. It preaches violence and death. Don't want them here. I don't want a neighbor who's Muslim. Just don't. I don't want to live near a mosque. And if that makes me Islamophobe, so be it. I'll wear that like a badge on my chest. Don't care. Don't care. They can treat other religions and people like animals, but we can't do that to them. Well, you know what? The tide is turning. You're going to look down on people because they're Jewish and Christian and preach they should be executed. Well, I think you're a piece of shit, and I want nothing to do with you. And wherever I can make you feel uncomfortable, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make you feel like the animal that you are. Treat you like the animal that you are. And hopefully you'll get the hint and you'll leave. And if not, I'll just keep doing it. I don't have anything to do with any religion that preaches that much hate to anybody else to where it's okay to kill them. I want nothing to do with that religion. I want that religion to have nothing to do with my country. It should be gone. And if you defend that religion and defend that, I got a chat right here. Put in there why. Tell me why that's acceptable. To have a religion that preaches to 300 million people worldwide? Show me. Tell me why that's acceptable. And then show me any church now or synagogue now or Amish or Buddhist or Protestant that preaches, hey, go kill Muslims. It's okay to kill Muslims because they're swine. Isn't that what they teach them about the Jews, that they're swine, they're animals, and it's okay to kill them? Show me a church that preaches that openly and has for centuries. That hasn't changed since the Dark Ages. You go ahead and show me that. And we can have a discussion. Yeah, there's the Westboro Baptist Church. Those people are lunatics too. They should be kicked out of the country. I'm an equal opportunity ass kicker. If you got were they Baptist or whatever denomination they are, preaching that God hates fags and military people die because they're fighting an unjust war or whatever, kick them the hell out of the country too. They don't need to be here. Christ, more people have died in the name of religion than for any other reason I can think of. And I don't think that when these religions started, that the people who founded these religions were thinking, hey, you know what? If we're lucky, in like 300-400 years, they'll be killing each other over this. That's what I really want. I don't think, well, maybe Islam. But I don't think any other religion wanted that. I mean, if you read the Bible, I don't think anywhere in the Bible did Jesus say, hey, look, if they don't worship or believe in me, you have my permission to kill them. Go kill them. Cut their heads off. Make the whole world Christian by any means necessary. I don't think Jews preach that. Go kill everybody that doesn't want to become a Jew. Protestants don't do that. Buddhists don't do that. Only Islam does. So yeah, I don't want them here. You shouldn't want them here. And it's not a personal thing. Like I said, it's a religious thing. Their religion is not compatible with Western civilization. Never has been, never will be. Stay in your own country. Go to your own corner and stay there. We don't want to deal with you anymore. We're tired of it. You're violent. You're uneducated. You're unpredictable. And we're just tired of it. We've had enough. Speaking of having enough, Venezuela's president is waving a sword now when he speaks to his people in Venezuela. It says, I will fight Trump and the imperialist aggression. Once again, not assuming any responsibility for the drugs coming out of his country, pouring into the rest of the world. Not saying anything about it. That's wrong. We should do something. We'll help. How can we help stem the tide of drugs? Not saying any of that. It's all everybody else's fault. He sounds like a Muslim. It's everybody else's fault. We're the victim. Everybody's picking on us for no reason, and we're going to fight the big bullies because we're the good guys. His country is exporting drugs that killed millions of people around the world. He's been accused and has an arrest warrant on him from the U.S. Department of Justice for drug trafficking and other crimes. He is not the victim. No matter what he says or how he cries or what he does or what sword he's waving around in the air and what, barking like a big dog, he is not the victim. Now, he may be bought and paid for and has no choice at this point because he's sold his soul to the cartels. That's possible. But that doesn't excuse him or his country. What we're doing should have been done years ago. I know, was it Nancy Reagan? Just say no, and then the war on drugs. Talk is great, but it's cheap. And talking never stopped anything from happening. Action stops things from happening. Actually getting out and doing something makes things happen. It's like if you go to a hospital, your arm's broken. They don't sit around and talk about your broken arm and then wait for it to fix itself. They actually do something to fix it. Same thing with this. We just can't keep talking about we need to, stem the tide of drugs. Drugs are killing people, and we need to do something to stop it. What can we do? I know we can do. We can pass more laws on top of the thousands of laws we already have, and that'll do it. It hasn't worked up to now. Nothing has changed. And yes, I understand supply and demand. As long as there's a demand, there will always be supply. I fully understand that. And I'm not saying we don't own some blame on that too in this country. I think we're the biggest users of illegal drugs in the world. I get it. We share some of that accountability as well, and we need to do something too. But we just can't let the shit keep pouring in until we can figure out what to do with the addicts in our country. So we're doing something. Maybe if we make it tougher for drugs to get here. I'm not saying we are. I'm not saying this is having any effect on supply. Not saying that. But if it does, that's better than doing nothing. If we save one life, that's great. Don't get me wrong. I do not think addiction is a disease. Let me correct that. I don't think addiction starts out as a disease. I believe addiction starts out with a conscious decision, a choice to do heroin, to do cocaine, to do meth, whatever drug it is. You choose to do it the first time. No one forces it on you. You're not tackled to the ground and people are injecting. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm saying in general, it's a choice you make to use that illegal drug, which leads to an addiction, which then becomes a disease. I don't think it starts off that way. Like I said, it's a decision that person makes. I'm going to take this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to try this. They've made that decision. They've put themselves in that position to become addicted to a drug. Again, after a while, does it become a disease? Yes, I will give you that. After months, yes, you now are an addict, and that's a disease that needs to be treated, but you put yourself there. Nobody forced that needle into your arm. Nobody forced that pipe into your mouth. You made a conscious decision to try it. And yes, that's a very simplified, to the point, no gray area. That's just how I feel. Do I feel sorry for them once they get to that disease stage? Yes. I think addiction's horrible. And I don't think jail is a place for an addict. I don't think that does anything, because you can still get the drugs in jail. I feel they need help. And however we can help them, we do. And I think in return, if we can help an addict not become an addict, they should have to do community service for a couple months to pay back how we've helped them. To show their, hey, thanks a lot. You got me off the dope. Let me go work in a soup kitchen, or let me help other addicts for a couple months. Something to give back. It shouldn't just be, hey, here you're done. Here's your methadone. You're cured. Go. No. There should be more to it than that. If you're unemployed, you have to go to classes. You have to do certain things to get your unemployment. It should be the same thing for an addict. We're going to help you, but you need to do things in return. So back to what I was saying originally. Doing anything is better than doing nothing. Doing the wrong thing is better than doing nothing. And we are killing drug dealers or drug runners, slowing the flow of drugs into the country. Again, maybe it's not slowing it down. Maybe all we're doing is giving the cartel a moment of pause, which is better than nothing. Now there's, oh, well, shit. We send out Jose and Julio, they might sink the ship or his boat, and then we're going to lose all those drugs. We got to figure out another way to do this. And I'm sure they're already working on other ways to do it, which is fine. Again, a moment of pause is great. And I'm tired of hearing people say, well, they were just fishermen. Really? How come no one's sued? Why has no one filed suit with the World Court or anything? How come the president of Venezuela has not once come out and said, look, here's the pictures of the fishermen you killed? Because they're not fishermen. They're drug runners. Again, the Navy's just not sitting off the coast of that country going, geez, let's every fourth boat we'll put down because it's probably a drug dealer. They know what they're doing. We have the most advanced Navy in the world. We've got satellites in the sky that can read my watch. If you don't think for 1 second that any boat that comes out of that country, they don't know if it's a drug boat or not, you're crazy. They know exactly who to sink and who not to sink. Because I'm sure they had, out of the 8 or 9 boats they've sunk, hundreds have left that country and have not been sunk. Hundreds of fishermen have gone to work to go fishing and come back just fine because we know which boats we need to put down. They're not guessing. They don't have like a magic 8-ball. Hey, did this boat have drugs? No. Definitely yes. Go ahead and sink that one. We know. And I don't feel sorry for them. You're running drugs. You know drugs are illegal. That's why you're doing it at night in a boat, trying to be sneaky. You know it's killing people, but you don't care. I get it. You got to feed your family, but there's other ways to do it other than peddling poison. Other ways. Even in the third world country, there's other things you can do to feed your country that don't involve illegal activity. And if you decide to do some illegal stuff, you got to know that that comes with a cost. Everything has a price. There is nothing free in this world. Nothing. Sometimes the price is immediately clear, and you say, yeah, I'm not going to do this. I can't afford it. Other times the price doesn't become clear until well down the road. Nothing you do is free. Everything has a cost. Everything has a reaction. And if you think for 1 second that you running drugs doesn't have a negative reaction, you're crazy. You can't, if you have the IQ of a candle, you've got to know that I'm running illegal drugs. In my country, they execute us for it, put us in jail forever. I'm pretty sure if I get caught somewhere else, they're going to do the same thing. Everything has a cost. Everything has a price. Nothing is free. And giving us a moment of pause now is China and Russia have told Venezuela that they're with them, that they stand by them, and they hope that they can ward off America. Where is that? Z, I think it's XI, whatever his name is, Xi Jinping, vowed that Beijing would continue to resolutely support Venezuela in safeguarding its sovereignty, national security, national dignity, and social stability. This message was released as the U.S. deployed military assets, including warships and thousands of personnel around Venezuela's coastline as part of the purported counter-narcotics operations, a move Maduro and his allies perceived as an attempt to destabilize his country. Echoing Xi's stance, Putin affirmed in his own letter his commitment to a strategic partnership with Venezuela and expressed confidence that Maduro's administration would overcome all trials with dignity and defend its legitimate interests in those turbulent times. Russia has reportedly responded to Maduro's request for increased military support, including potential delivery of radars, aircraft maintenance, and defensive systems, reflecting Moscow's ongoing interest in the protection and opposition to U.S. pressure. So we have that now. Do I think that Xi Jinping, or whatever his name is, and Putin and Trump are going to start World War III over Venezuela? No, I don't. I think right now what we have is a bunch of saber rattling. We're going to do this. Well, we're going to do this because you're doing that. Well, we're going to do this. I think all three of those people realize Venezuela is nothing. means nothing to anybody. I think they're just taking this opportunity to have a piston contest right now. And eventually they're going to get bored and they're all going to leave, and Venezuela will go back to enmity and no one will remember what happened. It's still worth watching, keeping an eye on, but I would not panic. And again, I'm not an expert in South American politics. I'm not an expert in any of it. This is just my opinion. And looking at things and reading things, I don't see an immediate threat to our country or an immediate threat to a start of war over Venezuela. I just don't. It's over. All three of these guys know it's about drugs. There's drugs coming out of the country. We're putting down drug runners. And I don't think China or Russia want to defend cartels. I really, really don't think they want to do it publicly. That's why I think right now it's just a pissing contest. They're each pounding their chest, laughing at the other, like, I'm not afraid of you. Well, I'm not afraid of you. And it's not going to go past that. I really don't think we're going to do very much other than keep putting down drug runner boats and maybe, and it's a huge maybe, send special forces in to blow up the drug labs inside Venezuela. Unless we're already talking with Maduro and telling him that's what he needs to do to prevent us from doing that. Who knows? I don't know what's going on. Like usual, there's stuff going on behind the scenes that you and I, as average citizens, will never know until it happens. But I don't think there's going to be a world war fought over drug cartels. I really don't. I don't think Russia wants to do that. Russia's tied up with Ukraine right now. They couldn't do anything now if they wanted to. I'm surprised they could send anything to another country. They've had to take stuff from North Korea, ammunition, because they don't have enough. So yeah, I'm shocked that they're even saying, yeah, we can send you some stuff. And maybe that's all it is, just talk. Like, oh yeah, sure, Maduro, we'll send you some things. Yeah, we're right there with you. We're buddies. You just keep checking Amazon. It'll be there soon. If not, call me. We'll resend it. On top of that, the Pentagon now cancels warship orders. The U.S. Navy will now build only 2 Constellation-class frigates from a downplanned fleet of 20. China has the world's largest Navy now. Now, that includes like non-military boats that are in the Navy or in their Navy, like listening boats, spy boats, not necessarily military boats, but they have the world's largest Navy. We don't have the world's largest Navy anymore, and you would think that was like, oh, we're only going to build 2. We're supposed to have 20. We're still more technically advanced ship-wise than any other country in the world. Just because we only have 2 to their 10 doesn't mean very much. People in the Navy are well-trained, well-educated. They know what they're doing. Our ships are top of the line sci-fi crap on them. So this doesn't concern me. Shouldn't concern you. Just a thing. And if you read that somewhere and you're going, oh my God, we're not building ships anymore. We're going to get, they're going to kick our ass. We're fine. We're fine. Trust me. I was in the Navy back in the day, and the ships back then were badass. I can't imagine what they are now. So I'm not sweating it. You shouldn't sweat it. Don't sweat Venezuela. It's not going to be a big war. It's not going to happen. My opinion. Don't take it to the bank and go, well, Seth said this. Just sharing my opinion based on what I've read. And you can all read the same things and maybe get a different opinion. That's fine. I'm just saying, based on what I've read, I don't think it's any more than chest pounding right now. They didn't want to build 20 ships. Okay, we're building 2. Not a big deal. Those 2 ships are probably worth, like I said, 20 ships in another country. So not that big of a deal. Don't stress over this. Don't be worried. Shit like this goes on all the time that we don't know about. But yeah, don't worry. It seems tense. It seems like, oh my gosh, we're on the verge of something big. This is going to get crazy. We're talking about 3 countries screaming and yelling at each other over drug cartels. Drugs affect those countries just like they affect ours. They're not immune to drugs. Again, this is just a big pissing contest between the 3 of the biggest kids on the block to see who's badder. That's all it really is. Notice that they're not even really talking about Maduro. They're talking about we're going to support Venezuela, blah, blah. It's okay. It's really, really okay. Don't worry about it. All right, let's take another break and we'll be right back.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
So yeah, we have all those shows. Check us out. Check us out on X, on True Social, on Facebook, on Parler. We're everywhere. We are everywhere, which is good. Nothing wrong with being everywhere. And if you're interested, we have at least one more podcast coming on, a new podcast, and there's 3 in the works. So if you're interested in that, just get in contact with us at americaspulsenetwork.com. On the upper right-hand corner, there's the 3 lines for the menu. Click on that, submit your application, and we'll be in contact. So if you want to do your own podcast, do that. Or if you just want to support APN or one of the shows, again, go to the same website, click on sponsorship like it says on the bottom. In the upper right-hand corner, fill out the form and click submit. And someone will be in contact with you. And that someone will be Damon Sherrod. He's the man that would contact you and get into you with that. So there you go. If you're interested, great. If not, great. Just keep watching, hanging out. It's cool. We don't mind. So the third segment here is just pretty much random stuff that caught my eye that I wanted to talk about, cover with you all. And the first thing is, since there was Thanksgiving, everybody knows not everybody gets to go for Thanksgiving. You got police officers that got to work that day and that evening. Firefighters are on call, doctors, nurses in the military who are deployed overseas or are on duty here and don't get to go home. So you got to remember them. And that's every holiday, not just Thanksgiving. Christmas, New Year's Day, Easter, 4th of July. These people have to be at work. They don't get to shut down for the day. So next holiday, just remember these people. Give a little nod of appreciation. If you see one of them, tell them thank you for what you do. We appreciate it. They don't hear that enough, especially police officers. With all the jackasses running around nowadays, attacking police officers and federal police officers for enforcing the law, they'd probably really like to hear, hey, thank you very much. What you got to do is a hard job, and I appreciate it. I appreciate what you do for me and my family. Thank you. Sure, they would appreciate to hear that. So don't feel weird saying it to them because they probably need to hear it at this point. I mean, I don't know if you watch the news, but every time the ICE goes to enforce federal law on illegal aliens, they get attacked now. It's like it's okay to attack police officers. It's not okay. That's why it's a crime. That's why you can be charged with resisting arrest or obstruction of a police officer in his official duties. And maybe we need to bring nightsticks back. Nightsticks matter. Start giving people wood shampoo. You start shoving cops because they're doing their job, legal job, enforcing legal laws. And you decide it's okay for you to assault them. Maybe if you got a nightstick across the head or across your shins, you might think twice about it next time. You're not a hero. You're not on the right side of history. These people are enforcing laws that have been laws for years. These are not new laws. What's new is we're enforcing them. That's what's new. Your feelings don't matter. I don't care how that makes you feel. Well, my neighbor's been deported. I don't care. Really, I don't care. He's probably deported or she's deported because she didn't fill out the paperwork to become a citizen. And I guarantee you she's been here for 20, 30 years and had ample opportunity to fill out that paperwork to start the process. Once you start the process, you're good. They've made that very clear. Very clear. If you're in the process or start the process, you're fine. If you have not and will not, self-deport or we will deport you. So you've been warned. You've been given ample opportunity to become legal, and you've chosen not to. So I don't feel sorry for you. Don't. Like you got these little stupid posts on X and Facebook of some kid crying with a stuffed animal in her arm. I'm here illegally. Do you think I should be deported? Fuck yes. Yes, you and your family. Get the hell out. I don't care. There's no country in the world. None. that allows you to stay in their country illegally? None. Why should we? Why is it always on America to do things differently than the rest of the world has? Why is it on America not to enforce laws? Why is it on us to turn our back and go, well, you know what? It's not so bad. You can stay here. We've got veterans living on the street, and we're giving money to illegal immigrants. That's not right. That is not right. You want to help people, help the veterans. Help our homeless. Give them as much money as you're giving these illegal immigrants. Let's help our people first. Once we got no more homeless Americans or homeless vets, then we can talk about letting people in. Then it's not such a big deal because we've taken care of our own people. But that's never going to happen. So don't let them in. Kick them out. This is what that lady I talked about a couple of weeks ago has a Chinese restaurant. It's been there for 20 years. Found out she's an illegal alien and they're going to deport her. Why is anybody shocked? You're here illegally. They told you. This wasn't like all of a sudden like, hey, on Monday, we might start deporting people. And then Monday afternoon, they're out to deporting people. You've known about this for years. You've known you're in this country illegally for years. So why is it a shock now that they're actually, hey, you know what? We're tired of it. You're getting out. We're coming to get you. Or leave. It's not right. No person is illegal. Yeah, they are. If you come in this country illegally, you're illegal. And you can't be here. According to the law. Not my feelings, not my opinion. It's the law. Like every other country has a law about that. No one's complaining about when Austria throws people out of their country who've been there past their visa or they're illegally. Nobody complains about France doing it. Nobody complains when Italy does it. It's okay. It's only when America does it is it a problem. It's the law. What's next? We're not going to enforce speeding laws because it hurts people's feelings? It's okay to drink and drive. We're not going to do that because it might separate a family if we arrest a drunk driver. We don't want to do that. We don't want to separate families. Go ahead and break the law, but just don't do it again. We're not going to separate your family. Liberals are mentally ill. I don't understand their reasoning. I don't understand their points. I don't understand anything about a liberal at all, period. They don't see the world as it really is. They don't. They see it how they wish it would be, and that's their reality. There are no laws that should be enforced. They're mean. You can't separate families. You can't do this. You can't. Yes, I can. Yes, we will. And yes, we'll continue to do it. So you can stay in mommy's basement, eat your Hot Pockets, drink your juice boxes, and bitch and moan all you want. The adults are in charge, and that's what we're going to do. Here we go. This is a good, I posted this on my X page. I thought it was a pretty legit question. You got some Antifa members, which, again, Antifa is nothing but rich white kids with too much free time on their hands who go to college. This is what they're learning in college. Should they have their masks removed once they're arrested? And you've all seen them arrested. The cops handcuff them and let them keep their masks on. I firmly believe the second they get the cuffs put on them, their masks should come off. That simple. You've broken the law. Criminal records are public record. So now we get to see who you are. Take their mask off. It's that simple. I don't even know why that's a question. I don't even know why I asked it. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, your mask comes off. I don't care what reason you have it on for. Because it makes you look like a badass. Walk around with your umbrella and a mask on, saying you're anti-fascist, while in fact you're fascist because you don't let anybody speak against you. Yeah, your mask comes off. Let mommy and daddy see what their college tuition, the college tuition they're paying for is really paying for their little darling to be out there fighting with cops and burning things and destroying public property and private property. Let them see that. Maybe they'll cut you off that. Maybe your ass will have to get a real job and pay for your own way. So yeah, their mask should come off immediately. Once those handcuffs click, mask off, and let the whole world see you. If you believe that strongly in what you're doing, that you're out there fighting with police, why not show your face? Why not be proud of who you are? Embrace who you are. I am an anti-fascist. I am helping the little guy. Here I am. The second you hide your face, that tells me that you're a coward. You really don't believe in what you're doing. And you're just doing it to cause problems. You're not really about the cause. You're about burning things and fighting with people and doing all sorts of stupid shit. Because if you really felt that strongly about it and your movement is that big, why would you hide your face? Why wouldn't you want people to see you? To inspire other people to do what you're doing. because they really don't believe in what they're doing. It's just a bunch of rich, spoiled white kids with too much free time on their hands out there showing their asses because they know mommy and daddy will bail them out. Another thing we should start doing, if you're under 18 and you're still a minor and you're doing shit like this, your parents should have to do the time with you. So if you get arrested and you're 17 because you're out there doing stuff with Antifa, guess what? Mom and dad get locked up too because you're a minor and they're responsible for you. And we're not talking about shoplifting. We're not talking about buying cigarettes or drinking underage. We're talking about felonies. And if your parents can't control you, their ass needs to be in jail too. Maybe that'll stop all the Antifa bullshit. If mommy and daddy get yanked out of their country clubs and have to go stand in front of a judge and explain how they can't be a real parent and that why they shouldn't go to jail right with their son or daughter. That would stop it. I think there's actually a school in West Virginia that does that with suspensions, as long as it's a nonviolent suspension. If mom or dad sit in Saturday school with their child, that doesn't go on their record. I think that's a brilliant idea. Too many parents want to be friends. They don't want to be parents anymore. So if they don't want to do it by choice, you got to force it on them. Any fool with a dick can make a kid. Talking about fools with dicks, got this moron. Senator Mark Kelly, who looks like Dr. Evil, was one of the Democrats that told the military members, you must disobey illegal orders. It is your responsibility to do that, blah, 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 blah. When I was in the Navy, we went through boot camp. In boot camp, we had a class on the UCMJ, which is a Uniform Code of Military Justice, and they tell you that you are legally obligated to not follow through an illegal order. We know that. Anybody in the military knows that. You take a class on that. It's beat into your head. You're told that. It says on the USC, you know it. So what these people are doing are trying to incite something, trying to start something. No illegal orders have been given. We have not told the military to go out and start opening fire on unarmed civilians. They're not out there burning things. They're not out there stealing. They're not out there raping like other countries, like the Middle Eastern countries do with their people. We're not raping people. We're not kidnapping people. We're not killing children. We're not bombing communities. They have not been issued an illegal order in recent memory. So him coming out and telling people you have to disregard illegal orders is trying to start something. And Pete Hegseth, SecDef, has said he's looked into and looking into currently pulling Mark Kelly out of retirement, reinstating him in the Navy, and then court-martialing him for sedition, which is legal in the UCMJ. They can recall him, give him back his rank, and then the court-martial him. That'll never happen because he's a politician, and politicians are allowed to do and say what they want to do with impunity on either side of the aisle. Not just Democrats. Republicans can say and do much anything they want to, and there's nothing that happens to them. But they can do that. Now, you can say there's some people say the Pentagon is misreading military law. Others say Arizona Democrat cannot be prosecuted as a member of Congress, blah, blah, blah. A group of former military prosecutors insist he did nothing wrong. They're saying he did nothing wrong, but they're not coming right out saying they can't do that because they know they can. He can be recalled. He can be charged. And he should be. All the Democrats that said that to the U.S. military should be charged with a crime. That's sedition. That's against the law. Just like you're saying to people on January 6th that went into the White House were insurrection, which is against the law. What they're doing is just as against the law. But again, they're politicians. No accountability. Laws are for thee, not for me. So they can say and do what they want to do. And they will get to do that because they're politicians. And in this country, we treat politicians like rock stars. They can do whatever they want to do, which is not right because they're no more important than me or you. But he does look like Dr. Evil. $1 billion. All he needs is like a little guy that looks just like him, be mini-me. Now, this next story is pretty funny. So let me play this and I'll get into it.
What you can do, you can mix things together. You add the ham. You don't have time to make breakfast. You're going to have an exciting life now. Breakfast to go. You're going to love my nuts.
You're going to love my
nuts.
nuts. Watch this. You can do everything.
I don't know if you all remember that. I don't know if you all remember that guy, the slap chop, and he did the sham wow. His name is Vince Shalomi. It's Shlomi. And he was one of the biggest pitchmen on TV. I mean, you couldn't go to a show like the other guy who did the seal tape, whatever, I can't remember. Billy, Can't remember his name, but he was bigger than that guy. I mean, everybody loved his nuts. He's actually running on the Texas Republican Party to run for a representative seat that is being held by John Carter. I think that'd be awesome if he got elected. I mean, he could talk about his nuts and how much you're going to love him, that you need to eat more salads, about his sham wow. I trust him more than any politician I've ever heard speak. I trust this guy a lot more. He says he's running to destroy wokeism in Congress. Why not? Why not? Why not give the man a chance? I think everybody should have a chance to be in Congress. Like, we all get like a number, and then every year they say, okay, everybody with a number 27, you're going to be a congressman for a year. I mean, it's a circus now. We might find better people that don't want to run because they don't want to run because all the bullshit that goes on with it. There might be great people out there that should be in charge that won't. I know people that should run for local office but won't because they don't want to get tied up in that BS. They don't want to be associated with the Republican Party in our county because it's a joke. It's impotent. They're more worried about parties and happy hours. So, yeah, couldn't hurt. It might even work. Who knows? Who knows? I'm going to watch it again.
What you can do, you can mix things together. You can add the ham. You don't have time to make breakfast. You're going to have an exciting life now. Breakfast to go. You're going to love my nuts.
You're going to love my nuts.
You can do everything.
That's just funny. I don't care who you are. That's pretty funny. So yeah, we're about that time. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me. It's a quick hour and a half. Again, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to force you to my way of thought. If you agree with what I said, that's great. If you don't, that's great. I'm just here to make you think, like all the other people on the podcast here that we do. We're not here to change your opinion or change your mind. We're just here to make you think, to give you another view, another school of thought. And there's nothing wrong with it. And like I said, you don't have to agree with us. That's not mandatory. We don't go, hey, if you don't agree with us, you can't watch us. We're not Muslims. We're not going to come to your house and kill you if you don't agree with us. But yeah, it's about that time. So all the time, I usually have an opinion. Sometimes the opinion has something to do with the podcast. Sometimes it doesn't. It's completely random. This kind of does have something to do with the podcast tonight. So I'll read it. And if you agree with it, great. Again, if you don't, great. It's just my opinion. It's not really fact-based. It's just my opinion. Putting America first is not xenophobic or a rejection of the wider world. It is the most basic expectation any citizen should have of its own government, that the primary duty of those in power is to protect and advance the interest of the people who elected them. Every sovereign nation on earth operates this way. France puts France first when it protects farmers with subsidies and tariffs. Japan puts Japan first when it tightly controls immigration to preserve social cohesion. Saudi Arabia puts Saudi Arabia first when it manages oil production to maximize national revenue. No one calls Paris, Tokyo, or Riyadh selfish for doing so. Only when the United States asserts the same prerogative does it get labeled isolationist or racist. That double standard is revealing. A government that refuses to prioritize its own citizens quickly loses legitimacy. If leaders spend finite resources, money, diplomatic capital, military lives on distant projects while roads crumble, veterans wait months for medical care, and manufacturing towns hollow out, they are failing at the most elementary task of governance. Charity begins at home, not because foreigners are unworthy, but because the social contract is local. You pay taxes to your government, not to the United Nations. You pledge allegiance to our flag, not a planetary abstraction. This does not mean turning inward forever. A strong, prosperous America has been the single greatest force for global stability and progress in the last century. It defeated fascism, contained Soviet communism, rebuilt Europe and Japan, kept sea lanes open, and lifted more people out of poverty through trade and innovation than any empire in history. But strength requires constant tending. A nation that neglects its own foundations eventually lacks the power to help anyone else. Just look at all the declining empires that have overextended themselves while their core rotted. In the end, America First is not a slogan of exclusion. It is a reminder of duty to the Constitution, to the citizens who kept the Republic running, to the children who will inherit it. Once that foundation is secure, America has proven repeatedly that it can do more good for the world than any nation in history. There is no moral deficit in taking care of your own house first. In fact, there is a profound morality in refusing to do so. Just my opinion. Don't have to agree with it. Tell me to kick rocks, pound sand, whatever it is you want to tell me. But that's that. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me tonight. I will be back Wednesday at 8 on the Pulse. And then I'll be back next Sunday, same bat time, same bat channel, talking about different stuff. Hope you can make it there. Hope you can make it Wednesday. Again, like, follow, and share this podcast. Like, follow, and share all the other podcasts. Like, follow, and share the American Pulse Network on X, on Rumble, on Truth Social, on Parler. Share it with your friends. Share it with people you don't like. Just share us. And that's that. So again, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you all Wednesday. And remember, if you live your life based on a principle rather than a party, you're going to lead a very good life and leave something behind your family will be proud of. Everybody have a good evening and have a good week.